right outside, so come on in, don't be shy. We've got ghosts and UFOs. Brace yourself, get ready for the show. Don't be afraid of the dark. The fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Oh, tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Have you heard tell of a demon next door? Or maybe a cryptid on the lake shore? There's nothing too strange for us here. So if you're ready, stamp out your fear. Don't be afraid of the dark. The fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome back, campers, to episode 27. Tonight's tales belong to the liminal spaces, doorways, stairwells, empty streets, places we cross without thought until something in them notices us. These stories remind us that thresholds are never just in between, they are invitations. Some places are built for safety, for laughter, for the innocence of childhood, but even those walls can hold things no one invited. Tonight's story from r/paranormal comes from Reddit user u/angelofmusic5, who thought she was simply caring for children at a daycare until shadows crept into nap time, voices rumbled from the ceilings, and an unseen presence began to mark its territory. What she found wasn't just a bad workplace, it was something much darker watching from above. 3 of us heard and saw things. We were all disliked by these 2 teachers for multiple reasons. Both myself and my other friend also noticed the way she treated her students, and the paranormal stuff got worse. I would get strangely dizzy in certain rooms. One classroom was more haunted than the others. The sink would turn on by itself. The first time I saw it was during the kids' nap time. Cups and dishes started flying off the sink area and crashing on the floor, and the sound of washing dishes came from around the corner. After that, it kept getting worse. I would hear claws tapping on the glass in between rooms. I saw an 8-foot shadow person walk by the window. Something squeezed my throat and I couldn't breathe for a minute, and my hair would get pulled. I would close my eyes and see images of knives in my skin and feel this awful heavy hopelessness. My friend saw a door, and that had been stuck open for years, swing shut by itself, and would hear stuff moving around in that bathroom while all the kids were asleep. The other friend heard deep rumbling voices coming from the ceiling, and his son, who was also a student there, kept saying he would wake up during nap and couldn't breathe, like something was sitting on his chest. That was the worst part. Kids would cry in terror and refuse to go in certain rooms. Once a 2-year-old pointed into the room while crying and said, "No, ghost in there." A little boy in my class would suddenly start screaming and pointing at something on the ceiling. Once I was taking my kids outside to play, and the creepy male teacher was also taking his, so we met in the hallway. I looked up and there was this weird black shape above him. It was almost a diamond shape, not a shadow, just like an opening into emptiness. That's the only way I can describe it. There aren't really words for it. Its head was visible, but also like that there's nothing to use as a frame of reference. I guess a bird skull or plague Dr. Mask would be the closest, but even that doesn't really match. I jumped so hard, I dropped all my stuff, and he just kind of stared at me and moved on. But it was the scariest freaking thing I've ever seen or felt. I prayed, cried, searched desperately for another job, but was stuck there for 2 months. Even my horrible boss, who wouldn't hear a word against either the two creepy teachers, no matter what they did, got terrified one early morning because the music, machines, and the classrooms kept running on by themselves as she walked by. Finally, one time when my little student woke up screaming and pointing again, I spoke out loud and used specific wordings about, "I have been given authority over you. My power does not come from me. You know from whom it comes from." I don't know why I said that, but it felt like a lion showed up behind me and roared because the presence hightailed it out of that room. It will never truly make sense to me. It didn't get rid of the things, but I stopped getting messed with as much. I still felt the presence outside the classroom door and here and there, but it didn't pull my hair or anything again. A couple of days later, I got accepted at another school. I had already reported the neglect to CPS and I quit immediately. I heard later on that those two teachers finally got fired. I don't think they were intentionally cursing us. I think they were messing around with things they don't understand and were inviting things in without realizing it. And the things were protecting them. I've never seen a manager or HR fight harder for a couple of god-awful teachers. To explain more on that, here's a side note of the insanity that got ignored. The guy teacher tried to hit on all the younger employees, even a minor who was volunteering. He posted weird Facebook posts about finally succumbing to the darkness and would try to convince young female teachers to move into a room in his basement. He also constantly screamed at the kids so loud it echoed through the buildings. This was a Montessori school, too, where yelling isn't even allowed. The woman was neglectful of her students, especially if they were not white or special needs. And she said racist things about coworkers. She said point blank she didn't want the new POC teacher to become her assistant because she's lazy. It's a cultural thing for those people. Girl was not lazy at all. She also talked very loudly and openly about being a witch, not the earthy Wiccan kind, from the sound of it. This woman had left a disabled child in soiled clothes in the bathroom for hours because she didn't want to change her because she was too big for that. She also took away a non-verbal child's communication device. She also made a 5-year-old girl cry by telling her, "People are going to hate you for your whole life because you're a girl," with no other explanation. I had to do serious damage control whenever I was in that room. She also would stand outside the biggest window and make out with her partner on her break, while all the kids watched. These things all happened over the course of time and were reported by multiple people. The turnaround rate was very high and teachers generally stayed a couple of months and then quit, so they each thought they had done their part by reporting it to the manager. Nothing ever happened to these two teachers. The manager would become flustered and nervous and do all kinds of mental gymnastics to justify their behavior. HR did the same thing and would penalize the reporters for harassment. I lost my float position because of it and was told I wasn't allowed to speak to other teachers, so I wouldn't expose anything else. HR literally said to my manager over the video call, "You have to keep her contained so she doesn't keep talking." Final note on the school itself. I heard through grapevine that those two teachers finally got fired and the manager was replaced. I hoped things got better, but then the school just declared bankruptcy and the building was bought by someone else. It's now a new school. I'm honestly planning on driving by and doing some prayers and blessings in the parking lot just in case it can help, because I don't know if those things are still in there. To this day, I can still recognize that presence if I go near another place with an entity. I don't feel fear of it like I used to, and I know I can't prove it or make anyone else understand or believe what I saw, but I know beyond a doubt this crap is real. I used to just believe in heaven and accepted that some people told stories about seeing evil and good entities. My stepfather talked about an angel pulling him out of a car wreck that nearly killed him. I accepted it might be real, but never bothered to decide for sure what I believed. Then this happened, and boy do I believe it now. There are evil things beyond what we can see. Don't mess with occult shit. Protect yourself. Don't invite stuff in, 'cause it will come. We don't need to be afraid of it. People can believe whatever they want, 'cause I know not everyone believes in God, but here's my 2 cents. I believe we have been given authority by God to tell them to fuck off as long as we're focused on the fact that this is His strength and not our own, 'cause they're not going to respect ours. I believe in not fearing them, but being aware of them and not messing with it until you have to. For the Reddit user, the daycare became a battlefield, one where prayers, not policies, seemed to push the presence back. The toys, the walls, even the children's terrified cries hinted at something older and hungrier than office politics. She left, but the building still stands under a new name. And if she drives past and still feels it staring back, maybe that's because some things don't care what sign hangs over the door. Some things never leave. Some figures don't just pass through your life. They linger, quietly, like sentinels at the edge of a memory. Tonight's second story comes from Reddit user u/realisticcup2809, who grew up on a riverbank where history ran deep and shadows carried weight. As a child, they saw a masked figure in their home, something older than the walls, older than the land, and only decades later did they discover their mother had seen it too. What was it protecting them from? Or what was it warning them about? Hey everybody, I have a question that has weighed on me for years. My mother is sick right now, end-stage cancer complications, and have been thinking a lot about the past. I was an only child. It was just her and I. We lived on a house on the river, high side of the bank. We moved in when I was 5, moved out when I was 21. When I was about 13, I came up from the walkout basement to the main floor where the bedrooms were. At the top of the stairs to the left, I saw something. It wasn't a shadow figure. I could see it clearly. It looked like a Native American with a mask. It was maybe 5 feet tall. It was only there for 4 to 5 seconds, but I see what I considered an indigenous outfit. I never said anything to my mother, part because I doubted myself. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that I told my mother. She became strangely quiet, then admitted to seeing it one time when she woke up in the middle of the night. It was at the foot of the bed, looking at her. We both had the same feeling. It was not evil. She didn't tell me as she didn't want me to be scared, but I could tell it bothered her 20 years later. As it was just her and I wondered sometimes why we both saw it. It was shorter than normal, wearing some sort of mask. We both saw it. It was also during this time when something scary happened of the human variety. I was basically a latchkey kid of the 80s. I never locked the door behind me. The door that led to the garage was never locked. Then I had a key to open the door to the house. One time after I came in, not 20 seconds later, a man was knocking on the inside door. He knocked saying he needed to use the phone. He even tried to open the door. It was locked. I never locked it. I yelled for my dad that someone needed to use the phone. My dad lived 2 states away. I just said it so this person who followed me didn't think I was alone. I was besides my small dog and 2 cats. He left. Didn't try again. I never put it together at that time, but it is around when I saw this figure talking to Mum. It seemed to be about the time she saw it too. I told my friends at the time, so I did tell someone, just never told my mother, which, yes, I find strange all these years later. I just don't know what we saw. I mentioned the river as a lot of native tribes around the Great Lakes would bury their dead along riverbanks, I was told. The lot next to us was hilly and a forest area. I explored it as a kid and had trails, but was never scared of the area. Has anyone heard of such thing? Would have been possible that this was something looking out for us all these years. Also, when we sold the house, the new owners cleared the land and it caused a lot of problems. They ended up having to cement most of it and it cost them almost 100k of unexpected expenses. They had other problems and only stayed there less than 2 years because everything they did with that remodel went wrong. I sometimes wonder if that was because they disturbed the land while we respected it. I know clearing the trees could have easily caused the problems. Sometimes I wonder if those hills were mound. Again, this is just thinking back with time. My question isn't so much about that as I just want an idea what we saw. Again, a lot of speculation as time goes by, but curious, there is someone who knows about the Native American spirits who could possibly explain what we could have seen. Just a small thing in my life, nothing else ever scary about that house. Well, that wasn't man-made or nature. We had a tornado come through, hit the houses on either side of us. One had to be completely rebuilt. Not even one tree at our house or woods even fell. Again, likely that the tornadoes jump still on the street. Only 3 houses didn't have damage. We were one of them. So yeah, this is my question of what this could have been. Thank you. Just a tough time in life and thinking about the past a lot. For this user and their mother, the masked figure never brought terror, only questions. Was it a spirit of the land, a guardian echo of those who came before, or something stranger still? The house is gone now, its hills leveled and its woods erased, but the memory stands, silent and unbroken. And sometimes the things we glimpse once and never again are the ones that stay with us the longest, watching from a place just beyond understanding. That's the close of episode 27, campers. Some doors are best left unopened, some stairs best left untraveled. Until next time, move carefully through the in-between because something may already be waiting there.
As the night gets longer and the darkness creeps in, with the eerie silence broken only by whispering wind, come gather round the fire, the flickering flames, and hear the tales of the spooky and the strange. A chill up your back, a shiver up your spine. You'll be haunted by the things that you find. Legends will unfold and stories will be told at the Scaredy Campfire, for only the bold